off the top of my head, I can't remember his greatest hits from Central America, but here he is. On one hand, he can't understand why mothers would give their children to coyotes. On the other hand, I realized, like, oh my God, we destroyed that whole region. We completely made it impossible to have security there. So
let's talk immigration for a second. I'm looking at these beautiful portraits of these immigrants. And then I'm thinking about other images that are so disturbing to me. That, remember the little 10-year-old boy who was wandering, crying through the, you can picture him. Or the 2- and 3-year-olds who were dropped right over the fence. I mean, I was just thinking about those images, and I just keep thinking, like, why can't we get this right?
Well, you know, it's hard for Americans to understand, and I can't really understand why a mother becomes so desperate, or how a mother becomes so desperate that she's willing to put her children in the hands of a coyote, a smuggler. And so there's been a lot of devastation in Central America, political upheaval, earthquakes, gangs and drug lords, and the people are totally intimidated. And so they're streaming to our border. The system really needs to be reformed and fixed. Two things I think will help alleviate that. One is an asylum process that is more robust. In other words, the border's being overwhelmed right now, and there needs to be more judges and more courts so people can have a fair hearing. And secondly, we need to change the work visas. There's a lot of jobs that are empty, and there's a lot of jobs that need to be filled, and yet there are people willing to work hard to do so. And so I think a combination of those two would help alleviate some of the border. I talked to a Border Patrol head down there in the southern sector, and one of the problems we have right now is that many of the law enforcement, the Border Patrol agents, are pulled off duty to deal with children and, you know, to guard hospitals. And it just goes to show there's a real shortage of manpower and focus down there.
Well, you're so passionate about this. I mean,
I am passionate.
You're lobbying, obviously, by this book. You're lobbying for it. But I thought you said something interesting in an interview.
I know. He was like, thank you so much for that gimme.
That's
what? So passionate about the Border Patrol agents funding.
I'm gonna, you know, disturbing images of children caused by U.S. policy. Nothing, you know, Bush would never.
I'm just gonna pretend my dad didn't exist, so that way you don't have to remember. Like, you know, he was CIA and he was, oh boy.
Dad who?
Contra? What? Contra?
My dad. Oh God. I mean,
all earthquakes.
How many death squad heads we had come visit us when I was younger. Around, I was wasted, but he, I mean, I would get the best yayo would come in because he would have all those death squad buddies come for dinner. And so,
they had the hookup.
I don't understand how they could leave their kids with a coyote. Just don't know how to do that. But yeah, no, I'm passionate about it. I'm just a painter.
That's what he said earlier. No, you may have missed. We covered the. He said he was just a simple.
Just simple painter. Just simple painter. Yeah. He was practicing while Dick Cheney was there in the Situation Room. He was in the back corner painting by numbers.
Jim Toyota just retweeted this article from Politico where George Bush is bemoaning the misinformation coming from the press, like. They're still not reporting that Saddam, where he hid all his weapons. That's the thing that they're not telling you. That there's weapons of mass destruction there. You don't want the mushroom cloud to be a smokestack or whatever the hell it was.
420.
Yeah. So there you go.
I'm kind of from
Somebody's
Louisiana
asking me to do jetpack engage. The way that when we first started the show. The bonus you would get by becoming a member was a Lord George W. Bush doll that I had built, you know, in a backdrop that we had for Break Room Live, and he would be at the podium in his waning days, and he would grant pardons to everybody, and then he would take off in a jetpack.
Pretty solid W.
Jetpack engage. So.
You know, it's like the one thing we don't talk about is at the border, when the Patriot Act took place. So obviously he was very distracted by other wars that he was conducting. But when they started when he took office and there was the last spike in border crossings, the Patriot Act took place, which suspended the rights. And I mean, if you got arrested at the border, and I speak from experience because this happened to me, I did not have a phone call, my phone call because of the Patriot Act. And people don't understand that the reason why they're able to get away with so much at the border on the US side to this day is because of the Patriot Act.
Yeah, well, that's what the creation of the entire Department of Homeland Security was a function of 9/11 as well.
But we can't abolish ICE because it's a long and storied institution in US politics, right?
ICE has been around since late 1800s in this country. So much of the country is bound up in the history of ICE. I drew a painting of it.
There's a statue of all the ICE agents, and they just want to keep taking down those damn statues. I don't understand why. It's a long history, long.